Hey, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and we are back again giving you some KvK number 10 updates on what is happening, what is going on. So at the moment, all level 7 and 8 cities in our server's respective zone 1s have been conquered. I'm actually really happy that we got the green color too. I know I didn't touch on this last time, but it is a winner chicken dinner moment for me personally. Now before we get started, make sure you guys sub, like, ring that notification bell, and of course you can join our conversation if you want to be a part of our Discord, which you can find in the pinned comment or description down below. Alright, so we are in KvK number 10. And I know usually it's number 1 that auto-populates. I wish it would auto-populate for the server that you're in, right? Nice little update there that could potentially happen, wink wink. And you can see, like we've talked about before, right, it's 73 through 80, right? We are in the bottom middle position, and there's a lot going on. What's interesting is there's not a lot of public information right now on kind of who's allied with who. You know, is there any drama going on? Now, there have been some things, like little bits and pieces of information that we have seen picked up in some of the public chats, but nothing really official as of yet that has came out. I think partly this is because, again, first kind of trial season, right? Some servers just kind of may not be either confident or just not wanting to, right, tip off the other side on kind of who they're with, who they're allied with, who they're partnering with, which is kind of basically just saying the same thing 3 times over. But that's how we do things, you know, at the end of the day. So I find it very cautious, right, when it comes to those things, because we just do not have enough information on what to expect. But it also makes it exciting, right, where you kind of have this idea that, you know, maybe it'll just be a straight free-for-all, like every server for themselves, right? And that could be cool as well, right? I actually think that something like that could be really cool, right? If you know, and this is something that I think will probably be more, we might see more of this when the matchmaking, when like the MMR KvK season start, which is going to be the one after trial. And that'll be interesting to kind of see what servers get matched up with who, especially after the next migration, after the Season 2 migration opening ends up coming around for those servers that are going into KvK 1, outside of the trial season. I think it'll be very, very telling, right, depending on what happens. Because I've seen situations happen before where you'll have pairings come out ahead of time. People just let you know, like, hey, these 4 servers are going up against these 4 servers, right? Or these 3 servers, 3 and 2, right, are matching up. Or, you know what, there's just like 2 groups of 2, everyone else is free-for-all. It's always something to look forward to and can be surprising depending on the matchups that you see coming out of different KvK groups. But because of that, I think a lot of this is just, you know, us trying to figure out, right, what are other servers going to do? And as I said, right, nothing has really been talked about publicly, so it is something that we kind of keep, you know, a lookout for. In addition to that, right, in Legion chat, there's not really a lot that's talked about. I mean, I've rarely seen a screenshot here posted of people saying, like, yeah, we're working with this server or not. So I part of it, I think, is just new players, right? Not everyone kind of maybe knows, you know, what to say, what to not say. You know, maybe some people just don't think about talking about those things. But sometimes just kind of picking up those breadcrumbs that you might find in some of the public chats can be somewhat discerning and telling, in addition to possibly, you know, messaging other players as well, because you just never know what you're going to find out, right, or what maybe someone might tell you, even though hopefully, right, most of the players from servers will kind of keep, you know, information limited, if not secure, right, until it is an appropriate time to announce, or if they're just going to let people find that out based on who they're going to fight. With that being said, right, Chronicle 6 at this time has finished, and I know we're going into Chronicle 7, which is going to be opening up here in about 5 hours and 50 minutes. So by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be a little bit later. But level 8 cities will be next, right, for people that are able to cap those. And then again, people will get the bonuses there. That's pretty standard, right? And then we're going to have, right, Chronicle 8, which is the layers of surroundings. Right? All lords will receive rewards when 0 of 24 level 8 or above checkpoints have been captured. You get some extra rewards if you have actually captured a checkpoint. So right, these are going to be kind of our level 8 pass openings, which you can also see if we go over to just one of the gates. This was the gate that I know we fought at before when we had the little bug moment, right? That was really fun. But you can see, right, a little over 2 days now that we have, which essentially is going to be on Saturday at reset, right? So it'd be Saturday the 11th at reset, but if for easier terms, right, you can also go off of Friday, December 10th at 23:59, which is a minute before reset, going into Saturday is when the gates are going to open. So I think that's when we're going to see a lot more. I'll be honest, I think we're going to see a lot of drama as usual. I think Legion chat, world chats are going to be going cray-cray. I think the IK Discord KvK chat room is going to be going crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of video content on wars and trash talk. And it's probably going to be everything that you want it to be, right? Which is hopefully going to be a bunch of awesomeness, right? Despite fixes, updates, right, future feedback and suggestions for KvK, I think when it just comes down to the war portion, I think this is going to be the time that people can really look at and say, man, this was fun. We were able to fight to our heart's content. We got all of our PvP bloodlust out, and it's going to be a good time, right? I think if you watched our video on the level 8 gate, the level 8 pass fight, right, between members of our server and about 2 alliances, 1 main alliance from 73, right, it was fun, right, regardless of, right, it eventually kind of became lopsided a little bit more in our favor just because we had more activity on at that time and were able to rally a little bit faster through our coordination. It was still fun, right, just the battle itself of the back and forth, right, invading a little bit of the Zone 1 areas, right, from each other, where it happened to us first, and then we did a little bit, right, that part was enjoyable. That, I think, is hopefully going to be some of the best takeaways that we get from this KvK. In addition, what I will say as well, which seems to be somewhat of a side note, right, I know a lot of people have kind of been building their thermal towers, and it seems as though based on, because I think everyone has kind of slowed down to a degree, right, and, you know, even though, you know, we kind of have already been maxed at like 19, 20, kind of going back and forth, right, I mean, I would average about 40 towers, maybe more, probably a lot more we probably could have had, but I think the thing here is that, right, pay attention to like the manufacturing, making sure you're clicking that all the time to keep producing more thermal towers, right, so you kind of just have, right, that 19 to 20 stocked up, right, at all times, and then once you hit that, right, potentially kind of dropping a 1x1 to kind of expand your territory. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting because some people, I think, just like stopped a little bit too early where they could have kept going, right? I think you could probably arguably get every alliance to maybe about 40 thermal towers before you probably have to start kind of slowing down, and you'll still have more than enough time. Again, based on the gate not opening for 2+ days, right, and probably around 2.5 to 3 days, I would imagine most alliances, like many of ours, started kind of getting to that point where you're saving up your towers, you're kind of already at that 18, 19 mark, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I probably could have built a bunch of more towers earlier, right, early on, just to get that additional extra snow coverage out of the way, right, which factors into all the players being able to gather and kind of hit gnomes, bosses, RSS tiles, right, that are not frozen, right, is, I think, really important. You can kind of tell that, right, when you see the snow borders around here. I like how they at least are differentiating that, which I think is just a nice visual cue when you're going around the map. Outside of that, though, right, garrisons I think are interesting with the cities. This is something that we didn't really get to show off too much last time, but I'll kind of give you an example here, right, is, gosh, where's ours? So, you know, like for example, you know, with these, right, you can check these if you end up having, you know, any garrison. That's pretty standard what you would do with most home cities. But you can garrison these if you actually want to, right? You can kind of send, you know, your up to 10, not just for the pillars overall. But then you have the donate button, right? And this is interesting because you can go in here and you can essentially, right, and I'll just give an example. Like, you can go in, right, it says insufficient resources to train soldiers, right? So it says number of donations available, right? So I could donate and I'll get rewards, right? I'll get Legion marks for donating, which I think is really important, right? And then you also get Alliance contribution credits. I really like this because this was something we talked about before when it came to trying to figure out ways to increase or accumulate more Alliance credits after your cities have got to level 10, right? Something we suggested in our last feedback round video and doc that we sent to the IK team was that, allow for people to send a unit there as like a maintenance cost, right? Or just to maintain the structure, right? So you send a march to garrison the city, and they're basically accumulating the same amount of alliance credits they normally would, right? And it's just like a maintenance cost or a maintenance reward that you're getting for like maintaining, right, the building. And I think that could be something that they do, right? I like, though, how they're kind of coming out with this and giving you some options. And, you can see here, right, like 6 million resources is going to give me 1, right, and watch. So if I donate, and you can pick whatever you want with the exception of gold, right? But you can see 69 out of 164, right, with a bunch of defenders. Now I'll click donate, right? This should, and then you'll see here, right, it says start, right, recovery progression, only takes a few minutes here to train, right? But now we'll be at 70. I think there's a lot of different tactics and kind of strategies. You can also look at donation records, right? You can see who's donated, right? Some people have donated more than others, right? You can like use these things to kind of like keep track, do some interesting things there. I like how they're giving you, and I will say this, I like how they tell you who donated, how much they donated, and when they donated. For some reason, I just really like this whole donation mechanic and system that they've applied, right, to just the KvK. It's just another layer that allows for delayed city caps. It allows for, more resources that servers have to use if they want to cap more cities from other servers. I mean, I think there's so much great use. I just love that it's another thing to do in KvK that is factored based on how active, right, essentially you are, right, throughout the duration. So again, I love the mechanic. I think it's fantastic. That is probably going to wrap it up for me here. I know we're nearing about 12 minutes. I would love to know what you guys think, right? How has there been any drama in your KvKs, right? Have any of your KvK groups that we've seen, which I think is, I want to say it's 1 through 12 right now, if I remember the numbers correctly here. Oh gosh, here we go. Yeah, 1 through 12, right? So out of any of these here, right, have you experienced anything where people have already kind of talked about their allies? Have people kind of already formed unions? Have people done it publicly before the level 8 passes have even opened at this point? Or I guess when this video comes out, they'll be close to opening, right? But let me know what you guys think in the description down, in the comments down below, along with what do you think about the donation system? Do you like this kind of additional feature, this interactive feature that they've added into KvK, which is a little bit different than what I've seen in other Kingdom modes? I would love to know that, and anything else you want to share on what your experience has been like so far in KvK. That is it for me. Until next time, we will catch y'all later.